So are you thinking about buying a first generation Avalanche? Well, stay tuned to this two-part episode of the series of me explaining the problems that you should look for before purchasing an Avalanche coming up. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now, for those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Ryan and thank you so much for joining. Now, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and also hit the bell notification at its side so you can stay up to date with all my latest videos, as well as throw a little like in there because it does help this channel grow through the YouTube algorithm. So I'll appreciate that. But anyway, let's jump right into this episode. So if you guys are thinking about buying a Chevy Avalanche, which is the first generation, which I believe is from 2001 all the way to 6, I believe that's the first gen. Here are some of the things that you do have to look out for. So one of the things, which is not that big of a deal, is plastic fade. Now, on the outside of the Avalanche, there is something called the cladding. The cladding is like a plastic armor that's around the truck, which in my personal opinion, I think is really cool. My truck's an 04. It does have that cladding and it does have plastic fade. This fade happens to every single one of these Avalanches, which is why in the second generation, they got rid of it. But they do have the fade. They sell stuff to restore it back to black, but it doesn't last that long. It lasts 3 years, which is pretty long for some people. There are other methods of getting that black back, which people use a little heat gun, which I do not recommend at all because you're just damaging it and it'll come back worse than ever. So do not do that. If you want to, use a little bit of shoe polish, some Armor All, which is what I use to kind of keep it black and it stays a little bit. Plus, when the rain hits it, it kind of just falls off, it oils balls up. But there are other stuff. People have painted them, which is I think going to be my next step. I'm going to end up painting it to either the truck color or just black or gray. I'm not sure yet. Number 2 is cracked dashes. A lot of people have talked about cracked dashes on these. Before I bought the vehicle, I was also told that there is a cracked dash on this, but I have not seen any spot on that dash that's been cracked. I've removed that dash multiple times for multiple projects, and I have not seen a crack on that dash once. So just something to look out for. Number 2, brake lines. Now, if you're in the Rust Belt of the United States of America, which I lived in before, I was living in Jersey. Currently, I'm in Jersey right now on vacation, but I live in Florida right now. One of the big things to look up anywhere that snows, anywhere that has salt on the road to combat the snow, is rust. And these brake lines will rust to hell. What I mean by that is one day you're going to be driving, next day you're going to hit your brakes, and that's it. You have no more brakes because all your fluid's out on the floor and you're just going to crash. Hopefully not. But brake lines is a big thing to look out for. Now, I have a video on where I replace my brake lines. It's not the most instructional video from what I've been told, but it's some type of video that gives you some kind of guidance. I'm straight up going to tell you that video, or just doing that job alone, is a pain, how you have to route it. But yeah, just look out for the brake lines. It's a major safety issue, and it's not covered under any warranty. It's not covered under any recall. You're just stuck with that. So the next thing on the list is the 4x4 issues. Now, these trucks do have 4x4 issues occasionally. One main reason being the ground wires under the driver's chassis, under the driver's door's chassis. There are 2 ground wires, one that really starts the car, and I'm not sure what else it does other than starts the vehicle, because I know when I unbolted that, the vehicle didn't want to start no more. And there's one for the 4x4. So what usually I do was remove them, cleaned out the rust on the frame, and screwed them back in. Everything worked fine. You would normally get a service 4x4 message, and that would go away after cleaning it. Now, after a while, it comes back again later on. So what I've done was cut the 2 ground wires, route them all the way up to my engine bay, and then put the ground on there with the other ground wires. Reason being is so it's protected from the elements. There's not going to be any issues later on with it. And it's been about a year, maybe 2 years since I've done that, and I have not had one issue with that truck. Everything has been working perfectly. So I would advise to do that if you're going to get one of these first gen Avalanches. The next thing on the list is the tailgate handle. Now the tailgate handle is made of plastic, which means plastic is easily broken. For some reason, these tailgate handles I think are really cheaply made. I'm not 100% sure if it's ABS plastic, because usually ABS plastic is a little bit stronger, or what's put into this, but it's cheaply made. When you pull it, it will break. Now when I bought this truck, it was missing the handle. The handle was broken. So I had to open it with like a vice grips. It was so weird, and I ended up getting a handle, replacing it with something a little bit more sturdier. I believe the newer ones are a lot better, or maybe they're not. I don't know. Mine hasn't broken yet. But yeah, just make sure you look out for them tailgate handles. They're a pain. The second and last one on the list is leaks in the truck bed. Now, my truck does have a leak in the bed. I think it's one of the seals that go on the covers. There are 3 covers. It could be one of the seals. I'm not 100% sure. Every time I try to track this leak and it's raining and I have the seats down to look, you never see anything. And you end up sitting there for hours and then nothing happens. But as soon as you disappear and you come back in, it's just wet. And you don't know where it came from. It doesn't have any evidence of wetness anywhere. It's annoying trying to figure that out. I don't know if it's maybe a clogged drain somewhere that's draining into the cab. That's draining into the bed. I'm not 100% sure yet, but once I find that out, I will let you guys know in an update video. So we'll stay tuned with that, but that's one thing to look out for. And finally, the oil consumption issues. Now, these first gens have oil consumption issues. Apparently, I've heard the second gens have them as well. I haven't not owned a second gen, so I don't know much about it. It's from what I've read. The oil consumption issues definitely happen in the first gen for sure. It's the placement of the PCV valve on the valve cover itself. Now, it's not really a PCV valve because it's a permanent stamped-in valve-looking thing that goes to the back, which should be like a PCV valve outlet, but it's really not. It's just a vent hole tube, I guess. What they do is they have an updated valve cover with a different, where the placement of the hole is somewhere else. Same location, just a little bit further down the valve cover. Reason being, in the first one, the valves or the tappets would shoot the oil up, oil would go through and be gone. That's it. So you would have a lot of oil consumption, and I did make an episode on that. I can leave it posted up here somewhere. All the episodes that I've said that I've made, I can leave a link in the description for y'all, and I can leave a little link thing up here. Also in the description, I'll leave some tools and stuff that I've used in case you guys are interested in viewing the video and needing the tools to do the jobs. So anyway, that is all that we have for today's episode. If you guys are interested in the first generation Avalanche after watching this video, I'd advise get it. Even though it has these little issues, I still got one. I love that truck. It's really good, and it comes in so many uses, especially the tailgate coming down and stuff. Those are the best features to me. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please make sure you hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm to help shoot this channel up. Leave a comment in the comment section below if you guys have any other things that you want to add. I would be more than happy to read it. And with that being said, peace out. Stay tuned for part 2.